Hello everybody, it's time for my top 10 stables. First and foremost, I've got to say a stable to me is 4 wrestlers or more, so no stables that have 3 people in them, which is why I'm going to give some honourable mentions to great stables that only had 3 people in them. First of all is Too Cool. I really like them. Back in early 2000 they were really hot. Rikishi, the dancing, the sunglasses. Really cool, really over. Got a bit stale, but at the time it was fucking epic. Second of all, got Legacy. 3 people against, not going to make it to the top 10. They might have done because I think that it was very cool. They got a lot of heat on them. It worked. Randy Orton, even though I don't like him, he is still like a legend. Cody Rhodes, I think, could be a real future star. I hope he becomes it. And even Ted DiBiase at the time was pretty damn good. So I quite like those two. They get an honourable mention. Other honourable mentions are the Un-Americans. I fucking love them. I think in 2002, basically because I'm British. I love it when people trash the US because, you know, as good as you guys are, you can be a bit full of shit. And I thought the Un-Americans were fucking hilarious. All the Canadian wrestlers, good shit. Second of all, we got the Blue World Order. These guys are really hot in ECW, like a good mimic of the NWO. Really funny. They had a run in the WWF as well. Quite a cool one when JBL gets his fucking ass kicked with a chair from Stevie Richards because he beat up Blue Meanie in ECW One Night Stand. They were pretty cool, quite enjoyable. Second, we got the Dudley family. This was not what we had in the WWF with the Dudley Boys, but actually in ECW, where there was like Big Dudley and all that shit, Spike Dudley. You know, it was really cool in ECW. Liked that very much. Right to Censor. I really like these guys. I thought they were annoying as hell. Such a great idea. And I think it says so much about the WWE nowadays that Right to Censor exemplifies everything that the WWF has become now. Basically, you can't have anything violent. You got all PG, all that shit. So it's quite funny how hateable they were back then. They basically become real and they've joined the backroom staff of WWE. So they were funny as hell. And yeah, it's pretty sad what the WWE has become. Now to my top 10. We've got Nexus. Yeah, they're alright. They weren't bad. Like I'm sure a lot of people would put them higher. Weren't really doing it for me. It's still pretty cool, but I will say one thing, that this Nexus group could be a lot higher in a few years' time, because that group of NXT, the first season, some pretty notable names that might be big stars in the future. Obviously, you've got Daniel Bryan, who's a world champion now, over as hell. Wade Barrett, who main evented against Cena quite a few times, really cool. Justin Gabriel, I quite like he could be good. Darren Young, he's like really kicking ass at the moment, really like him. Ryback, obviously, he was there, he was pretty cool. Michael Tarver was shit, fuck him. Heath Slater, I kind of like Heath Slater, he's funny, and a lot of the legends who worked with him said he was good in the ring, so I kind of like Heath Slater. And David Hunger's a pile of shit, but fuck it. Nexus was good, it worked really well, it was probably the most recent like good stable. Obviously it all got stale and screwed up, but in a few years time, for all we know, Nexus could have been full of some real big stars, and I actually think like Darren Young might become a star one day. I really like him in primetime players, fucking cool. Next we've got the Ministry. These guys were really good, like early 99 was better than the later part of 99, and this was quite a cool group. You had some, again, I'm going to rank these lists not just on like how over they were or how good they were in the WWF, but actually like the members and what they became of themselves and how good that they were. And you got Edge and Christian, 2 future world champions in there. You got the Acolytes. Ron Simmons was a WCW champion. JBL became a big champion. The Undertaker, obviously, you know, forget about Gangrel and Mideon and Viscera, but that was a good stable, really over. Cool when Stone Cold got the crucifix and all that shit, and it was good fun. It kind of got shit after Backlash in 99 when they stole Stephanie and like they merged with the Corporation, who are next. The Corporation's pretty cool. Like when I was making this list, I was like, who's in the Corporation? You got like Ken Shamrock, who's pretty cool, Big Boss Man, who was fucking epic back then, and you had The Rock, really as a heel, really cool little thing, obviously with Vince McMahon. When I actually looked at the members on it, on like Wikipedia, there are like shitloads of names. I can't even remember being in it, like Kane and Big Show. I suppose you had like the Patterson and Briscoes, they're pretty cool. But for me, the Corporation's got to be in here for the time when McMahon was fighting with Austin, and you had the Big Boss Man in there, and The Rock turning heel at Survivor Series 98, winning the title and joining them. That was awesome, that was pretty damn cool. Let's never talk about the Corporate Ministry or the Union. Ugh, I feel sick just saying that. Next we've got the Radicals. These guys didn't really have a gimmick, it was just 4 people, but what a group of 4 wrestlers. Perry Saturn, I think, is a very underrated wrestler, really good. He was awesome in ECW, liked him a lot. Shame what happened to him, but he was awesome. Dean Malenko, epic wrestler, we all know this, one of the most technical wrestlers of all time, had a really funny feud with Alita, you got to check that out. He's Daniel Bryan's favourite wrestler, so you know you got something good there. And Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, don't even need to say anything about them, 2 of the best technical wrestlers of all time. Really cool group, really cool music as well. Like them a lot. Next, we got the Hart Foundation. I should say the new Hart Foundation. This was back in '97, where you had Bret and Owen Hart reunited at last. I really like that. British Bulldog, who's a legend. Obviously, I'm British. I really like him a lot. Brian Pillman, who probably influenced Stone Cold so much. He was a fucking legend, but his career got screwed up because he broke his ankle in the car crash. Came to WWF, didn't quite work out, and then obviously, unfortunately, he died. But he was shit cool when he was there. Also, you had Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who is a legend. Basically, it was a really cool group of people. Liked it a lot. Legendary, and some of the best wrestlers of all time in that group. Next, we got Evolution. I think pound for pound, like the consistency in the group, this probably should be number 1, because in most factions you always have a couple guys who aren't that great, kind of building up to something. Evolution had 4 stars who are without, I mean, I didn't count, but there's probably like literally 30 world titles between all 4 of them. And obviously Batista and Orton weren't like stars when it came around, but if you look at all 4 of them, H, Flair, Orton and Batista, 4 legends. Whatever you want to think about them, they've had a lot of belts, and for that, Evolution should be right up there. And I like how they kind of recreated their Horseman kind of gimmick when they're all rich and everything. Good shit, liked it a lot. Next, my personal favourite actually, but it won't get to number 1 because it's not that great. We've got the Nation of Domination. I fucking love these guys when they came out. They were so dangerous and scary. I think really tapped into a lot of white people's fear of black people. They were quite like the Nation of Islam, like the Black Panthers, scary as shit, but they fucking work. And for me, this has got to be up there as well for one big reason. This group made The Rock. Without the Nation of Domination and The Rock turning heel, he probably would have made it eventually, but never as fast as he did. When The Rock was a heel, everyone fucking hated him, but bit by bit they realised, my god, this guy is great on the mic, he's a great wrestler, he's going to be a star, and he actually ended up winning the fans' like support, obviously to then show his back against them again by joining Vince McMahon and the corporation. So Nation of Domination, loved it. I think Royal Rumble 1997, in my opinion, is the start of the Attitude Era. When they came out in that with their scary African music, to me that was like the fucking start of the Attitude Era and kind of smart adult themed stuff. And their match at WrestleMania 13, Chicago Street Fight, was pretty cool too. I love Nation of Domination, right up here for me. Next, we've got the 4 Horsemen. I'm not going to lie, this is like way before my time, so I don't really know too much about them, but obviously you've got Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and his cousin and some other dude. I watched recently a War Games match where it's like 2 rings in a massive cage, and it was actually really entertaining against like the Legion of Doom, aka the Road Warriors, and it was good shit, but I don't really know too much about them, so I'm not, I'm being a bit biased. They should be higher on the list in most people's opinions, but not particularly mine. Obviously, they had like other stars coming in the night. He's got a bit diluted, like Chris Benoit, blah blah blah. But obviously, for the legendary status, the 4 Horsemen has to come third. Second, we have DX. Now, I did not like when they came back in 2009. That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. When they came back in 2006, I think it just about worked. It was okay. Obviously, it was just 2 of them, so that kind of sucked. But DX, when it first came out in like late 97, this kicked ass. This was like, Shawn Michaels got in trouble for apparently putting like a big salami in his pants and taking it out to the ring. But that ended up going over so big time that Vince McMahon just thought, fuck it, let's go with this shit. And DX became legendary. Obviously, you got Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the fucking New Age Outlaws. How great were they? Chyna, when she was actually quite interesting before she started wrestling. I hated her as a wrestler, I've got to say. Really fucking ruined the IC belt. Obviously, as well, X-Pac, who was a great wrestler. Shame he never quite made it. But DX, goes without saying, just absolutely fucking epic. Attitude Era again, written all over it. Fucking good stuff. I love it when they take the piss out of the Nation of Domination. That was brilliant. You would never see anything like that nowadays, which is just such a shame. Top, obviously it has to be the NWO. I know a lot of people hate it, and in a way they were responsible for destroying the WCW, but at the same time, in my opinion, they were responsible for making the WCW and creating the Monday Night Wars. Without the NWA, wrestling would not be the same. It would never have, gone to be what it was. It started the Attitude Era and the WWF. Just fucking epic. Obviously, it got a bit shit near the end with all the new people coming in, but Hulk Hogan turning heel was just so intelligent. And compared to WWF around 96, 97, which I do like, the WCW wiped the floor with the WWF, and if it wasn't for the NWO, the WWF would never have become how good it was. So in terms of just its history and its impact in the world, NWO has to be number one. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how there are no stables now, and how that's just such a big fucking mistake. Like, Nexus was quite a good idea, but why don't we now have a bunch of fucking stables? Like, it's another fucking thing that the WWF has seemed to have forgotten about, which made them great back in the 90s and throughout time. What made them great was stables, and they just thought, oh, whatever. So it's another fucking bullet missed. It's just bullshit from the WWF. And I've got a suggestion for the creative team. Listen to this. This is my stable that I would make right now. It's called the Royal Family. Basically, it's like a British stable led by Wade Barrett, Drew McIntyre, William Regal as a snooty little prick, and Mason Ryan, who I think has got a future. And I would love to see this. Just a bunch of like British people from England, Wales, and Scotland respectively. So it would actually make a lot of sense. I don't think there's a Northern Irish wrestler out there. I would love it, and for them to do the same kind of thing as the Un-Americans did, just come and take the piss out of American culture and big up the UK. That would be great fun. I love it. And what I envision would be them getting in a big feud with Sheamus, who's from the Republic of Ireland, which is not in the UK, in Britain, and basically being like, join us, come on, you're Irish, get in our group, and all that kind of shit. And like, obviously Sheamus refusing, and then the dramatic heel turn when Sheamus joins the Royal Family. Oh god, it would be so good. And again, that's just to emphasize how badly the WWF needs some stables, and they're missing the boat on it. So yeah, that was my top 10 stables. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe, mofos.